Hello, we are talking about today teaching every student in the digital aid, and here's our members.
Evelyn Dean.
Deandra Gentillon.
Samantha Polly.
Austin Roach, and this is Education 202, Section 01, and this is our team affiliated learning activity. Context for the topic. In the book Teaching Every Student in the Digital Aid, the author gives us knowledge that can be used to improve student learning in the classroom as well as other educational approaches to reform. Using UDL, it can help reach diverse learners and maximize their learning. Keeping up with the modern day tech advances is greatly important in the education world. Throughout the learners, we can learn new ways of transmitting materials since every person learns in a different way, which is very important for teachers. UDL is used to reach every type of student without any type of barriers between teacher and learner. This is useful for different students of different cultures and with learning disabilities. With education always changing, using UDL helps to make sure that every learner understands what is being taught based on new guidelines and regulations.
Now for a brief summary of teaching every student in the digital age. The Universal Design for Learning, often known as UDL, is a research-based set of principles that forms a practical framework for using technology to maximize learning opportunities for every student. It is used to overcome two major challenges that educators face today: the challenge of learner diversity and the challenge of high standards. The goal and premise of UDL is that curriculum should include alternatives to make it accessible and appropriate for individuals with different backgrounds, learning styles, abilities, and disabilities within various learning contexts. Technological advances have allowed for educators to respond to the multifaceted individual differences in the student population and enable the teachers to differentiate problems a student may have using particular kinds of learning media from general learning problems and draw upon the student's strengths and interests that may have been blocked by exclusive use of printed text. The key to helping a diverse group of learners all be successful in the classroom is to identify and remove barriers from our teaching methods and curriculum materials. Teachers can achieve this by addressing individual differences in the brain's recognition, strategic, and affective networks. In order to remove these barriers and make curriculum accessible to a diverse group of learners, teachers should provide multiple means for representation, which means to represent information in multiple formats and media, provide multiple means for action and expression, which means to provide multiple pathways for the student's action and expression, and also provide multiple means for engagement, provide multiple ways to engage students' interest and motivation. The principles of the UDL framework, which can be found in the book under the framework of UDL, are: Principle 1, to support recognition learning, provide multiple flexible methods of presentation. Principle 2, to support strategic learning, provide multiple flexible methods of expression and apprenticeship. And Principle 3, to support effective learning, provide multiple flexible options for engagement. The three UDL principles share one common goal: to provide students with a wider variety of options in order to accommodate a broad spectrum of learners. The Universal Design curriculum requires a diverse range of options for accessing, using, and engaging with learning materials. Using UDL to individualize teaching methods. As you can see here in Figure 6.1, it lists the critical guidelines for using UDL to individualize teaching methods. Certain instructional techniques are very effective in supporting students as they learn to recognize patterns. Other techniques are better suited to supporting students as they learn strategic skills or as they build engagement with learning. We can accommodate diverse learners by using a repertoire of teaching strategies suited to each of the brain networks. To support diverse recognition networks, you might provide multiple examples, highlight critical features, provide multiple media and formats, support background context to support diverse strategic networks. You want to provide flexible models of skilled performance, provide opportunities to practice with supports, provide ongoing relevant and feedback, and provide other flexible opportunities for demonstrating skill. And finally, to support diverse, effective networks, you need to offer choices of content and tools, offer adjustable levels of challenge, offer choices of rewards, offer choices of learning context. And now to Samantha Polly with analysis of teaching everyone in the digital age.
The multiple intelligence theory, which is stated by Gardner in The Theory and Practice, is proof to the diversity of students within a classroom. The multiple intelligence theory consists with what we are now discovering about the learning brain, namely that students do not have one global learning capacity, but many multifaceted learning capacities, and that a disability or challenge in one area may be countered by extraordinary ability in another. What recent brain research tells us about learner differences. Recognition networks are specialized to sense and assign meaning to patterns we see. They enable us to identify and understand information, ideas, and concepts. Strategic networks specialized to generate and oversee mental and motor patterns. They enable us to plan, execute, and monitor actions and skills. Affective networks specialized to evaluate patterns and assign them emotional significance. They enable us to engage with tasks and learning and with the world around us. Each of the three networks require bottom-up and top-down processing. Bottoms-up processing is something external going into the brain, such as vision. Top-down processing is something internal being retrieved, such as prior knowledge or pattern recognition. Word superiority effect constrains the bottom-up processes of individual letter recognition and leads a reader to rely more on his or her expectation of what letter will come next and less on the actual visual features of those letters. Multi-step strategic processes. The first step is to identify a goal. The second step is to design a suitable plan. The third step is to execute the plan. The fourth step is to self-monitor. And the last step is to correct or adjust actions. In emotional reactions, the modules that make up effective networks are hierarchically organized, and the information travels in both bottom-up and top-down directions. Bottom-up connections in effective networks ensure that we are emotionally responsible to the outside world. Information travels from the sensory organs, such as the eyes and ears, up the hierarchical continuum. When it reaches the apex of the pathway, the limbic cortex, we feel emotional reactions. If this is true, then do blind and deaf people experience fewer reactions and emotions to the outside world? This caused me to wonder. The answer is yes. The sound and sight do not reach the limbic cortex, therefore emotional reactions are not triggered. Using UDL to set clear goals. Recognition goals. Standards that ask students to identify who, what, when, and where, prioritize the learning of specific content. This is the domain of recognition networks. Examples such as standards include understands the genetic basis for transfer and biological characteristics from one generation to the next. Strategic goals. Standards that ask students to learn how to do something, emphasize skills and strategies. The provenance of strategic networks. Examples of these standards include demonstrates competence in the general skills for reading a variety of literary texts. Effective goals. Standards related to the effects are still rather rare and are relatively easy to identify. Examples include students should enjoy, appreciate, and use mathematics just as they should enjoy, appreciate, and use music, art, and literature.
One of the first implications for the classroom address is the usefulness of basic neural knowledge. After reading this, educators should have a basic understanding of brain functions in relation to the classroom, which are recognition, strategic, and affective networks. These three networks correspond with the three principles of Universal Design for Learning, or UDL, which are representation, action and expression, and engagement, respectively. UDL provides a better classroom experience for all, as it does not cater to any one group of students but benefits all students, including students with a variety of disabilities. Understanding these networks allows teachers to better recognize and utilize each student's strengths and weaknesses based on their learner differences. In addition, knowing this information allows educators to avoid generalizations just because a student may be smart, disabled, and so on. Focusing on these qualities instead of their actual needs can cause teachers to miss students' other difficulties. Despite this, the book still cautions against focusing on just one network, as exercising all three results in a developed, well-rounded student. Informing educators of the variety of digital media is an important step to actually implementing new instructional methods. This book explains the drawbacks of traditional instructional media, such as books or lectures. This can actually create barriers to a variety of learners while satisfying the educational needs of only a fraction of the classroom. Using the numerous options available for educators, they can easily tackle these obstacles and make lessons more friendly for all students. While describing the different forms of traditional media, not just limitations are explained, but advantages as well. Although these medias are not useful to some students, others still benefit from these, so it is important not to forget them. Digital media can incorporate these traditional means, though, and modify them to meet the needs of any individual. The benefits of digital media include its versatility, transformability, its ability to be marked, and its networkability. These advantages are what allow educators to reach all of their students. The author suggests ways to implement UDL using digital media. One example includes a book to read for class assigned by the teacher, which is available in both print and a digital version. Many students use the print version for the convenience, as they can carry it with them and highlight important passages. Several students use the digital version, one who is blind, another who is physically disabled, and another who has dyslexia. In addition to these students with special needs, several students have a limited grasp of the English language. Due to these students' circumstances, obviously the print version is unapproachable to them. In this instance, the flexibility of the digital version has many advantages. This version allows the user to customize the text depending on the needs or preferences. Text size and color can be adjusted for easier visibility. Text-to-speech and a refreshable Braille device can be used as well. These functions can be used for students that are blind or just require assistance with things like pronunciation. The teacher's learning objectives do not include reading mechanics, but instead an understanding of the story's meaning and related objectives. Due to this, she encourages all students to use the digital e-reader, not just the special needs students. These advantages offer recognition support. Additional advantages for the digital version include its accessibility to students with physical disabilities who may not be able to even hold the book. Using the digital version is easy to navigate and take notes, even if an alternate means of typing is needed. Students can also record their notes by voice or draw or write comments. These functions offer strategic support, providing options for student expression. Lastly, the digital version offers multiple means of engagement. The teacher can supplement the reading with links to background knowledge, vocabulary, and reading support. The teacher also allows her students to use a variety of media to respond to the novel and demonstrate their knowledge. Some of the examples listed include designing a web page, drawing a concept map, or writing a paper. These methods offer effective support in getting students interested in their work. Many of these methods are not available using the general print version, but can be useful to all students. This demonstrates how UDL reaches all students in an effective and inclusive manner. Now is our definitive decision for the book.
We as a group believe that this book should be read by all teachers. Understanding how UDL works and the effect that it has inside of the classroom will always be a major step in making sure that every learner, no matter how diverse they are in learning, understands what is being taught. Here's our works cited page.